Now to Michigan, where mourners will pay tribute today to one of the most famous maritime tragedies in modern history, the sinking of the Edmund Fitzgerald.
For 50 years, the sinking of the Edmund Fitzgerald has been a big mystery on the Great Lakes. People say it was due to the storm, the waves, or human mistakes. But what if there was another reason?
The SS Edmund Fitzgerald sank in Lake Superior. It was the largest ship to ever sink in the Great Lakes. Resting place is now 530 feet below the lake's surface, allowing only experienced divers with expensive submersible vehicles to visit her.
A new high-resolution scan has been conducted inside the bridge, an area too dangerous for previous dives. Forget about the hatch covers and the shoals. What they discovered in the control room has scientists completely confused. The Titan's flawless record, from launch to legend. The SS Edmund Fitzgerald had a chaotic launch party. The woman breaking the champagne bottle struggled, hitting the hull 3 times before it finally broke. When the ship entered the water, it created a massive wave that soaked everyone nearby. Tragically, one man in the crowd suffered a heart attack and died. It was not the glamorous send-off anyone hoped for. Built at Great Lakes Engineering Works and owned by Northwestern Mutual Life Insurance, the Fitzgerald represented America's industrial growth. It was not just a regular freighter, it was a luxury liner on the lakes. The crew enjoyed air-conditioned rooms, tiled showers, and a fancy kitchen with 2 dedicated chefs. There was even a VIP area with a lounge and snack bar for company executives. Plus, it featured an all-welded hull, making it more challenging and longer-lasting than older riveted ships. From the very beginning, the Fitzgerald attracted attention. Its sleek design, crisp white decks, and deep burgundy paint made it stand out against the lake. People gathered at the docks to see it pass. Families waved from bridges as it slid beneath them, its deep horn sounding like thunder over the waves. Newspapers called it the Queen of the Great Lakes, while seasoned sailors referred to it as the pride of the American side. But it was not just about appearances. The Fitzgerald performed exceptionally well. It gained a reputation for speed, breaking records on cargo trips. It could carry over 26,000 tons of iron ore pellets from Duluth, Minnesota, to steel mills in Detroit or Toledo. During its run, it broke its own cargo record 6 times. This kind of reliability helped keep a loyal crew on board for years. In a job where people often changed ships, they trusted its build and loved its speed, calling it unsinkable. The last skipper was Ernest McSorley, who had nearly 44 years of experience. He was steady and practical, known for his skills, and respected by others in the industry. He was not a daredevil, but the kind of captain you wanted in harsh conditions. He had survived many storms and thick fog without panic. This trip was supposed to be his farewell before retirement. He loved the ship, believing it was one of the sturdiest around. His crew felt the same. For nearly 20 years, it had never lost anyone and had always delivered on time. Life on the Fitzgerald had challenges. Many people think the Great Lakes are calm, but they can become dangerous quickly. Storms can arise without warning, waves can rise high, ice can block paths, and fog can limit visibility. Despite these challenges, the Fitzgerald completed over 700 trips safely. Each time it docked, it reinforced the belief that it was built to last. It became part of local legends. Tourists took pictures as it passed through the Soo Locks, and kids in lakeside towns recognized its shape from far away. Years later, Gordon Lightfoot even wrote a famous song about it. By fall 1975, the Fitzgerald remained a top freighter. While it had some wear and tear from years of service, it was still reliable and strong. For the crew boarding for a trip to Detroit in early November, the ship felt like family. Nobody, not the crew or the captain, nor the families waving goodbye, expected it would be a final farewell. But on November 10th, a sudden storm hit Lake Superior. The great ship disappeared quietly in just a few hours, hiding a deadly flaw that no one noticed until it was too late. Swallowed by the lake, the final voyage. On November 9th, 1975, the Edmund Fitzgerald left Superior, Wisconsin, loaded with over 26,100 tons of taconite pellets going to a steel mill in Detroit. It was a routine trip, but that year, winter was hitting the Great Lakes hard. Weather reports warned of rough conditions ahead, but no one expected the severe storm brewing over Lake Superior. This was not just any storm. It was a major November storm. If you're not familiar with the Great Lakes, these storms are a mix of cold, dry air from Canada colliding with warm, moist air from the Gulf. This creates a sudden and intense weather event. By November 10th, the storm had intensified and became one of the worst on record. Wind gusts reached over 70 miles per hour, hurricane strength. Waves soared past 25 feet, crashing against the Fitzgerald with great force. Skippers at sea that night reported dangerous waves reaching 35 feet. They named them the Three Sisters. 3 massive waves hitting in quick succession, making it hard for a ship to recover. The first wave floods the deck. The second adds to the chaos. The third is the most dangerous, submerging the front of the ship. Sleet and ice whipped the rails, and visibility dropped to nearly nothing. Despite this, the Fitzgerald kept going, determined to survive. Captain McSorley, experienced and calm, communicated with the SS Arthur M. Anderson, which was 10 to 15 miles behind. Though the Anderson was smaller and older, her captain, Bernie Cooper, knew his stuff. They worked together, sharing their positions via radar like friends in a fight. Cooper watched the Fitzgerald closely. He saw her get hit by 2 of those massive waves, completely going under for a moment before shaking off the water. All afternoon, McSorley gave updates, but around 3:30 p.m., he called with a troubling message. "Anderson, this is Fitzgerald. Got a fence rail smashed, 2 vents out or busted, and a list." A list means the ship was taking on water and leaning dangerously. His radar had also failed, and he needed Cooper's help to reach Whitefish Bay, just 17 miles away. But the storms of Lake Superior can be cruel. The winds roared louder, the waves crashed harder, and ice weighed down the ship. At 7:10 p.m., the first mate on the Anderson, Morgan Clark, asked, "Fitzgerald, are you hanging in there?" McSorley responded calmly, "We're holding our own." Just 10 minutes later, the Fitzgerald disappeared from the Anderson's radar. One moment she was there, and the next, she was gone. There were no emergency calls or distress signals, just silence. The 729-foot ship and its crew of 29 vanished without a trace. Most ships send out frantic signals when they sink, but the Fitzgerald went down quietly. This silence was devastating for the families waiting on shore. There was no closure or goodbye, just an empty void. Cooper realized something was wrong and tried to reach McSorley, but got no response. He contacted the Coast Guard, which also attempted to contact the Fitzgerald, but received no reply. The Anderson, sheltered in Whitefish Bay, turned back into the storm to search for her. The Coast Guard sent helicopters, planes, and cutters to search the rough waters, but they found no survivors. Only debris washed ashore, pieces of lifeboats and oily slicks on the surface. The Fitzgerald had sunk, taking its crew with it. It took the Navy 4 days to locate the wreck using advanced equipment. Later, a submersible captured images of the ship, which lay split in 2 at a depth of 530 feet. The bow stood upright, half submerged, while the stern was twisted and damaged nearby. The broken parts told a harsh story of what had happened. But even deep underwater, the ship remained silent. How could such a strong vessel sink so quickly without warning, especially with experienced crew members aboard? How did 29 crew members disappear without leaving a trace? These questions sparked many theories in the 50 years that followed. 50 years of questions, the official theories. When the Edmund Fitzgerald sank in Lake Superior, it took 29 lives and left many unanswered questions. There were no survivors to explain what happened, no emergency calls, just some debris to examine. The aftermath was not a quick resolution. It became a 50-year struggle, filled with theories and doubts that keep sailors and history lovers awake at night. Theory 1. Faulty hatch covers. The US Coast Guard examined the incident in 1977 and suggested that storm conditions caused the hatch covers to open. These hatch covers were crucial. There were 21 large steel lids, each secured by 68 clamps for a total of over 1,400 connections. The Coast Guard believed that some clamps may have loosened in the storm, allowing water to rush in. Flooded cargo holds would cause the ship to lose buoyancy, leading to a nosedive and sinking. However, families of the lost crew did not accept this explanation. It implied that the crew was careless. Captain McSorley was an experienced professional, and his crew was skilled. Blaming them for simple equipment failures felt unfair. Additionally, over the years, the clamps had been replaced and repaired, raising questions about their reliability. Theory 2. Scraping the 6-fathom shoal. Some believe the ship hit the shallow 6-fathom shoal near Caribou Island before it sank. One witness, Cooper, reported seeing the Fitzgerald on radar and thought it got too close to this dangerous area. The theory suggests it struck bottom and damaged the hull. This aligns with McSorley's report at 3:30 p.m. that the ship was listing badly, vents were destroyed, and pumps were struggling. If this theory is true, the boat slowly took on water and the storm was the final blow. Cooper also said he saw the ship hog up on the radar, meaning the bow and stern dipped while the middle arched upwards, indicating it may have snagged something underwater. Theory 3. Breaking in half on the surface. The Transportation Safety Board proposed that the ship may have broken apart before sinking. This might have happened because of changes made in 1969 when they extended the vessel by 84 feet to carry more cargo. After this upgrade, she could handle heavier loads, which lowered her in the water. Some engineers worried that this affected her structural integrity. The ship might have sagged over time, creating a weak spot. If a wave lifted one end while dropping another, the pressure could snap her in two. This could explain the lack of communication. It would have happened quickly. Theory 4. A rogue wave. This idea is similar to the breaking apart theory, but focuses on a single large wave. A wave over 35 feet high could have engulfed the ship, causing it to sink very quickly. The wave's force would have pushed the bow underwater, and the boat could have gone down before anyone could respond with cries for help or radio signals. For years, these 4 theories have been debated by sailors, writers, and families of the victims. None has been proven definitively. But what if the storm wasn't the main issue? What if something in the cargo hold was a hidden problem? Wild theories, UFOs, curses, and the Great Lakes Triangle. Theories about the Edmund Fitzgerald sinking include a fierce storm or metal fatigue, but the ship's disappearance raises unsettling questions. These questions have led to wild conspiracy theories. Theory 1. UFOs took the ship. Some investigators mention UFO sightings over Lake Superior just before the Fitzgerald sank. Pilots and witnesses reported seeing strange lights. A crew member reportedly shouted, "Don't let them on board!" before communication stopped. Did something otherworldly take the Fitzgerald? Theory 2. A Bermuda Triangle in the Great Lakes. The Fitzgerald's resting place at Whitefish Point is often called the graveyard of the Great Lakes. Other ships like the SS Bannockburn and SS Kamloops have also vanished or returned with strange stories. It's said that boats do not just sink here, they disappear. Theory 3. Magnetic interference from below. What if the radar failure on the Fitzgerald was caused by magnetic interference from the Canadian Shield? Some areas cause compasses to act strangely. A magnetic anomaly could have led the Fitzgerald into danger during the storm. Theory 4. A family curse? Some believe that Fitzgerald might have been cursed. From a failed launch to a tragic history involving the SS Carl D. Bradley, which sank with most of its crew, there are claims of a dark legacy haunting the ship. Could the cargo have been cursed? The tape is recovered, a new dive into the depths. In a calm morning in 2024, a research boat is anchored over Lake Superior near the wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald, which sank nearly 50 years ago. Below the surface, at a depth of 530 feet, the pressure exceeds 230 pounds per square inch, and the water is just above freezing. The crew is using an advanced underwater drone instead of traditional technology. This drone has 6 lights, high-resolution cameras, and a sonar system to make 3D maps. It captures detailed images of the wreck without disturbing the sediment. As the drone explores, it shows small fish and twisted metal, eventually revealing the bow of the Fitzgerald. The control team watches as the ship's outline comes into view. The drone checks hatches and finds hundreds of problems, including significant damage to some covers. The most important discovery is a tape from the ship's radio room. This tape could hold the last words of Captain McSorley and sounds from the sinking. This might help the families of the 29 crew members learn about their loved ones' final moments. Experts are now analyzing the tape, and it raises questions about what it might reveal.